Hello and welcome. It's episode number 9, Hilarious Humanitarians podcast. I am Frances. Leave that in.
Go with it.
All right. Here we go. Hello and welcome. It is episode number 9, Hilarious Humanitarians podcast. Frances Echeverria here, licensed clinical.
You better keep all these in.
All right, take 3. Hello and welcome. It's episode number 9, Hilarious Humanitarians podcast. I am Frances Echeverria, licensed marriage and family therapist. Hi, Deanna. Who are you?
Hey, Deanna Silverman, licensed clinical social worker.
We say that because we paid a lot of money in student loans for those letters after our name. We want to plug them in wherever we can. All right, so hopefully everyone listening had a manageable Christmas. I'm not going to say an excellent one. Maybe it was just, you gritted your teeth and you got through it. But thank you for joining us again for another week of podcasts. And Deanna is coming in with a story, one that kind of crept up on you and happened as you were out spreading Christmas cheer for the families in Ventura that needed your love and assistance.
Right. This episode we're going to be talking about trolls on the internet. And on the way home from work, actually, right now, I was thinking to myself, like, as a 90s kid, I loved trolls. Remember trolls?
They were cute. Yeah, they were naked. They had belly, like a little jewel in their belly.
A little rhinestone in their belly button. They were so cute. And so I was like, man, I really wish there was another word for this because I'm actually like really fond of trolls. But I was looking into it and like,
I mean, you know, like assholes.
hair covered turd barnacles lit on fire. I don't know, like just doesn't have the same ring.
That's true. They have ruined it for us.
Yeah. Anyhow, you looked up like, let's get clinical up in here. Not clinical, but formal. What is a troll for anybody who is listening that just got AOL? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? Wait, they're still trying to download with the dial-up right now. Okay, so a troll is someone. Now, a troll is different from a cyberbully. We've heard of cyberbullies. Cyberbullies tend to kind of just focus on one person and they don't need the public platform. And that's where trolls come in. Trolls come in specifically for the payoff that they are spreading their filth publicly. So that's why you see them, come after obviously like good things that don't make any sense or things that are completely blown out of proportion that don't really elicit a sense of rightful indignation or being offended.
So this episode is going to be, we want to talk about like troll behavior, how to deal with trolls on the internet, and just kind of the overall like standing up for yourself via social media. I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours about standing up for ourselves on social media, off social media, but let me just get into it, shall we?
Yes.
I got a little story. So yesterday, I was sitting in bed, scrolling through Instagram, like any warm-blooded American on Christmas. And I'm not a huge Kardashian fan. I actually love reality shows. It's my guilty pleasure for sure. But I had noticed, I'm sure millions have noticed, they did these like holiday pictures with their family, and Kylie Jenner was missing, which is one of the sisters, if you have no idea about the Kardashians.
I've never seen a single episode.
Really?
No.
I actually didn't get too into them. I'm not even into them.
But everybody knows who they are.
Everybody knows who they are. And I don't know, it sounds weird, but ever since, did you know that Kim Kardashian unfortunately got like held up in Paris?
I'd heard about that.
And I don't know why, but since that happened, like watching her emotionally like evolve as just a more like conscious, like aware person, not putting themselves out there as much, being real careful about what they post on social media. I don't know, it struck a chord with me, and I find them more fascinating than ever. That's probably the therapist in me.
Oh, it's absolutely.
I always looked at them as human. I've always looked at like every celebrity or television person as like, this is just a human in entertainment. Let's treat them as such. But anyway, I'm whatever. So I made a stupid little quote that was like, all I want for Christmas is an answer about why Kylie is not in these Kardashian family photos. Most people like really liked it. They thought
I
it was
mean, I
funny.
saw it. It was funny, and I don't even watch. I get it.
You're like, I don't even need to know the context. It was pretty funny. And I even put the hashtag negativity will be blocked. I know a lot of people have all sorts of things to say about the Kardashians. And then, like, quite frankly, I don't care. I just don't. I mean, at the end of the day, I just think that what can't be disputed is they are phenomenal business women.
Yes.
That family is genius. I don't care what anyone has to say, like, other than agreeing. Let's just agree that they are good business women.
We can agree on that.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wasn't in the mood yesterday. I just wasn't in the mood to deal with any kind of negativity, which is why I kind of kept off of Instagram pretty much this whole week, because I had been focusing on the fundraiser and playing, the Jewish Santa Claus for Ventura and passing out presents. So anyhow, unnamed, this person comments and tells me to get a life. I think his exact words were, get a life and stop supporting these idiots. And I don't know. You just caught me off in the wrong hour.
You're like, bitch, you are going to get all of it right now.
Yeah. And like, okay, so I would say, seriously, like 99% of any kind of like hate comments or insults or just negativity in general, like delete block. My delete block finger is super strong. Like it has a 6-pack. Typically, I will just delete and block them. No questions asked. Yesterday, I was just not feeling it. And for somebody just to say, get a life, to me, like, yes, I've had a lot of people come after me after I posted about this person. So what happened was I posted a screenshot of their comment and I posted it to my Instagram page.
With their name?
With their name, yes. Because here's the thing, and a lot of people can disagree with me, but if you're going to publicly put a comment like that on my platform, then I get to publicly address your comment on my platform. And people can say, well, you could have addressed it within the comment section. Yes, I could have, but I chose not to. And it's not like I came after them like in a bullying way. I didn't say, fuck you, you're an asshole, you stupid idiot, whatever. This is literally what I said verbatim. I'm going to read it to you. Thanks to your insult, you have inspired me to get a life. I will be looking for one while I'm dropping off presents to people on Christmas Day. Your life of insulting strangers on the internet will be a tough act to follow, but I will do my best. Thank you for the inspiration. So, I could have called you a smelly asshole.
Right.
I did look to see. What I did do is I looked because I wanted to make sure they weren't a minor.
Right.
I have had like seriously death threats from like 15-year-old football players.
Oh God.
And I was seriously considering like, I'm going to tell your mom.
You're right.
Write into your school newspaper or something. But what this episode is about is like having people understand that even if I had 2 million followers, I'm still a human being. And some days I have more patience than not. And I absolutely do support the idea of like, pick your battles wisely. And I'm not saying that I posted this screenshot of this person because I thought that I would really connect with them and change their mind and get them to apologize about telling me to get a life. That's not going to happen. When I posted that caption and the screenshot, sure, I had a handful of people be like, I'm unfollowing, I can't believe you would do this, and yada, yada, yada. But I also had a handful of people DM me privately to be like, you know what? Thank you for standing up for yourself. You have given me the courage to hold somebody else accountable who has hurt me or said something that just didn't feel right. So for me, when I address these people on my social media account, it's 99.9% for the benefit of the audience watching. I know I'm going to lose people. I know that there's going to be people that just don't get it, don't appreciate it, don't support it at all. I should never, ever address anybody.
Especially as a therapist, you never should.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. I think I told you about this off air. Like, I got a message from a therapist. As a fellow therapist, I don't understand why you would address this person like this. And I'm like what? I literally addressed them the same exact way they addressed me.
You were actually nice about it. I mean, it was sarcastic, but I love good sarcasm. But I think you oh, I see how you're playing. Take this. There was nothing, I don't think, disrespectful or mean about it. It was like, you're going to be a jerk. Okay, you want your attention here.
Right, here. Exactly. Like I could, oh my God, I could totally understand. And I'd be really quick to apologize if I really lost my mind and decided to call this person like a slew of horrible names.
Right.
That would be completely out of my character. But if you off air, like if you know me as a therapist, as a human, as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a sister, oh, I'm the first person to come after you with some sarcasm. If you catch me on an off day, I am sarcastic. That's who I am. Like, even in my practice, when I have somebody, like I can remember when I was working in the ER, I worked in ERs for a few years. I wasn't a therapist, but of course I'm clinically trained as a clinical social worker, which we are also able to do psychotherapy, right? So it's just ingrained in me. And I'll always remember, I approach this person. I have never met them. I approach them with respect, with dignity, a calm voice. They start cussing at me. I looked at them and I said, I don't have to take this. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to cuss at you. I'm not going to yell at you, but you don't get any more of my time. Goodbye. And I left, literally like in the middle of them. Like, they look shocked. Like, I just got bitch slapped with words, but they weren't even aggressive.
They weren't even mean words.
Yeah. Like, how did you just do that? And I always remember, like, the nurse came to get me and she was like, that patient wants to talk to you again, but they asked, like, for you to know that they're calm now. So I go into their room and they're like, no one has ever talked to me that way. And I am ready to like get help. And I'm not saying like I was completely the reason for them to like see the light, but pretty much they said like, you just stop the bullshit right then and there.
Right. You shut it down.
You shut it down. You weren't going to allow me to walk all over you. And that's what I want my audience to see is I'm extremely kind. I'm extremely caring, but I'm not going to take shit. And whether that's delete block or it's addressing somebody head on, it's like that do no harm, take no shit. Don't take my kindness for weakness, just don't, or you're going to have like a bad day. And that's not in a threatening way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. See, I've dealt with the people who have opinions as well for a long time working in radio. And I feel like, especially working in the particular genres I've worked in, primarily like hard rock, black t-shirt crowd, and then alternative, it's strange to have a strong female lead. Well, not strange. It's just not regular. That's not the norm.
Uh-huh.
So it's so funny how my life works out because, I've always just thought I've kind of dealt with it. Like I'm really good at deflecting. Like if a comment comes my way, I deflect, I ignore. Typically when that stuff comes at me online, I'm the queen of being like, your opinion is, or whatever, you're entitled to your opinion. Have an awesome day. Loves and kisses, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned lately is that I need a little more Deanna in my life because what you said there, like, I think sometimes kindness and understanding, especially if you're a really empathic person, means you get walked on.
Yes.
And so we need to be able to show how to handle conflict and confrontation in a positive way. Now, people think of conflict and confrontation negatively. It's always negative, but those are actually opportunities for growth. We're filled with these moments of conflict. So we need to know how to manage them.
Yeah.
So for instance, I had one, oh gosh, I'm thinking of a couple. One was, it was just me and a friend, and it's 4th of July, and I'm wearing a shirt, and it says, party like the 2016 election never happened. Now, that doesn't say...
that shirt. I need that shirt.
And my friend, and here's the backstory. My friend and I have very different political views. He's wearing a shirt with Abe Lincoln riding a grizzly, holding a machine gun. I mean, it's like, whatever, we're just, and this guy, he's like, well, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not listening to you anymore. And I was like, whoa, 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 buddy. That's kind of extreme, right?
Right.
First of all, you don't even know the context of it. Let's just admit, whether what side you voted for got elected or not, that was a shit show. The election and everything leading up to it, and this increase in bullying and just bad behaviors was just a shit show that led up to that.
You don't even need to know who you voted for. That whole election was exactly what you said. It was a shit show. It was epically ridiculous.
And it made a lot of these behaviors okay. But you know what? I could have been talking about the fucking, pardon my language, high school student body president.
We're not partying language. Yeah. We're not pardoning language.
I mean, I could have been talking about who got elected to my homeowners association because they suck. You know what I mean? Like, chill out. So then I was going to attack him and I just sat back and I was, you know what? There was a few things where that had come up. I'm like, okay. And it's usually on stuff that's like completely kind-hearted. Here's my strategy. You call him out. I wait for my friends to do some digging. This guy, you know what his background was on his Facebook?
Oh, God.
Jesus loves everyone. Like super, super extreme, Christianity up in your face, which is fine if that's your thing. But homeboy, I was waiting. I was waiting for him to say something back to me because I was been like, what would Jesus do? Right. Send him back a picture of his page. But in that case, I didn't say anything, but it bothered me.
How can it not? Just as you said, like a lot of times I have noticed, just as you said, whatever's going on is actually supposed to be contextually like funny. Kind-hearted, not heavy. Okay, I've got a really good example.
I do too, again. So remind me too, because I'm going right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, do you want to go?
No, you go.
Okay. So last week, this actually piggybacks on so many people will DM me. I'm not kidding. 20 DMs a week. Why aren't you public? Why aren't you public? Why is your account not public?
I've wondered that too, because you were public for a minute.
Yeah, I was public all week during the fundraiser and the launch, right? But every single time I go public, I go, oh, this is why I'm not public. Because the amount of non-committed followers who wind up on your page, and what I mean by non-committed is they don't follow you. They just wind up on your page and scroll through your content and just bulldoze their way through, like leaving comments that a lot of times are like really mean-spirited. I've done my own little research and I've noticed like the people that leave the cruelest comments are those who don't follow me, but somehow wind up on my page. And the only way you can do that is if I'm public. So I had chosen to go private. And I know that sucks for a lot of people because they say, I try to share your content and my friends they can't see it. And it's like, well, then tell your friends to follow me. And like, if they can't, if they just don't have it in them to press follow, dude, the Hilarious Humanitarian community is like so badass. It's like such an amazing group of people that they're missing out. And I really hope that they do join, but I don't want to expose myself to just muddying the waters and just all this riffraff that comes to my page just so like your friend can easily get content because they're too lazy to hit follow. I mean that like in a really sincere like way. I know that might sound a little harsh, but so last week when I was public and I was doing all this fundraising for the Ventura Thomas fire, I was exhausted to my bone. The last time I remember that exhaustion was when I gave birth naturally. Okay. Like I couldn't see straight. I was so exhausted all week trying to get this fundraiser together and the presents and delivering them and all that. And I realized last week, oh my God, I keep talking about my fundraiser, but I've been not posting a lot of content. So I saw this meme. It was literally a bunch of deers going into someone's house. It was so cute. It reminded me of the hashtag #DeBubbas that I always use primarily for dogs or kitties, And it was seriously like, my eyeballs were twitching because I'm so sleep deprived. And I'm just like, I must put a post on for my followers to laugh at and feel kind feelings for the world, you know? So I find this picture of like these deers, and it says something silly like, my grandpa or somebody, you know, fed biscuits and chocolate to this deer, and then they showed up with their whole family. Literally, my caption said, welcome, new family. I didn't do like a doctoral thesis on these animals, but here's where it gets tricky. Here's the plot twist. Instead of it saying deers, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It said gazelle. And let me tell you, the internet's trigger word last week was gazelle. So I have compiled a list of the top, let's see, 10 comments that I actually really loved, and then examples of why I am private and what people with large media accounts or social media accounts go through. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Should I start with the worst or the best?
Let's start with the worst ones, because I like to leave a good flavor in your mouth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like wash it out. Okay.
Like bring them down, but take them back up.
And by the way, what I love about this is that you and I are so freaking different in so many ways, but so alike, because the same thing happens working in radio. Comments that are just shitty, and you're like, right. So it's just, I just love that. I love that you and I can connect, and I think that's a great example of you don't have to be exactly alike to totally empathize with somebody.
Right. Exactly. And I just also want to put out there that well, okay, wait. I was going to say I did not comment back to any of the negative comments, but that's not true. Once again, I got a little sarcastic, but it wasn't anywhere near like, you know, what I did to this. Okay, ready. Here we go.
Ready. So let's start with the ones that were mean.
It's a deer, for fuck's sake. Okay. Number 2, you stupid fuck. That's a deer. Number 3, and I'm going to like, by the way, like I'm going to read these comments the way it sounded in my head. Okay. Okay. So a gazelle. Wow. Just wow.
Her name's, no, I'm not gonna, I was like, her name's Becky, but I'm sorry. I've met some nice Beckys.
Yeah, me too. Okay, in bold caps, gazelles don't fucking live in Colorado. 5, gazelle girl, bye. Number 6, what the fuck? You are so dumb. Number 7, get your animals right. You're fucking stupid. You get the gist. I mean, guys, for God's sakes. Okay, that would be like if Frances and I were meeting up at a dinner party and she rolls up in like a beautiful red dress. And I'm like, look how nice you look. I love red on you. And you like look at me and like shoot me this glare. And you're like, you're fucking stupid. It's magenta, not red. Okay,
and then storm out.
What just happened?
You know what I love about this is that each of those people thought they were the first one that realized you got it wrong.
Right? There are, oh my God, I think to date, there's like 540 comments, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, almost 20,000 people liked it. So at least like there's 20,000 people that I'm sure brought a smile to their face. A percentage of those 500 comments, you're right. Every single one of them were like, oh, okay, I get
Here's my chance.
Yeah, here's my chance to completely annihilate her and school her on gazelles versus deers. When you know what? I was so fucking tired that I didn't even notice it said gazelle.
By the way, so first of all, thank you 500 Captain Obviouses. Yeah, secondly, just to sprinkle in some stuff, this is I think a great example of the online disinhibition effect, which it's the ability, basically you remain anonymous and you get to avoid the negative social impact that something similar in person would take. So let's say you're in a big crowd of people and Deanna calls a deer a gazelle. Homeboy sitting 4 rows back in the auditorium isn't going to stand up and be like, you're a fucking idiot. No, because the social environment around him is going to tell him, shut your mouth. Now, some people might giggle, but they wouldn't do that, right?
Right, exactly. And by the way, I am totally open, 100% open to being corrected. Although I didn't even realize that it said gazelle, because my mission was just to bring a smile to people's faces, not get a lecture about gazelles in the wild versus a Colorado deer. For example, there was this dude that wrote me, DM'd me, and he said, "Hey lady, comma, that's a deer," laughing out loud. He and I chit-chatted for like 30 minutes. We were just like cracking jokes. He was super cool about it. And I was cool about it too. I don't care. Like, okay, we made a mistake, but what, I don't know. I'm just like at a loss here. Like, cause really it was about bringing a smile to people's faces. I didn't even write the original meme. Like I just found, you know what I mean?
So real quick before we get into your, the best responses, because I think this feeds in well. You and I, we've discovered, both of us, the whole Star Wars thing we haven't participated in, right?
Right.
For months, 4 months on my show, when I was doing radio and having to do entertainment stuff about Star Wars, I would call it the Millennial Falcon instead of the Millennium Falcon.
You were doing that on air?
I was doing it on air multiple times a week. No one called me on it. And then this one nice young lady calls up one day and she's like, Skip, because I go by that on the air, on radio. She's like, sweetie, it's the Millennium Falcon. So I was like, okay, touche. There was a point in my life where I would have been really just completely humiliated and oh my God, I can never do. So now it's just become a joke. So then fast forward, I made a joke about, man, I should like trademark that and make it a thing. Well, then a couple months later, I didn't. There's shirts that say Millennial Falcon. There's all these memes of all the characters in the Millennium Falcon dressed as hipsters. And so I have a shirt that says Millennial Falcon and it's my favorite thing.
Oh, you should have trademarked that one. That was like your pet rock moment.
It was.
Years ago, I never had a radio program, but I was walking around proudly using the word. I thought I was so smart. I was like, so I'm conversating with him. I would say conversating, like instead of conversing. Uh-huh. I thought conversating was a word. And I even remember in my 20s thinking like, oh, I just said a big word. I get points. And I probably was saying it for years. And then one day someone came up to me and they're like, conversating is not a word. It's conversing or to converse. And yeah, it's like somebody telling you have a booger on your face. Right. I did want to crawl into the fetal position and die. But just as I rejoice in happiness when someone has the guts to tell me I have a booger on my face so that I can clean it off and not continue to walk around with a booger on my face, I appreciate when somebody politely corrects me to say, hey, I don't mean to embarrass you, but
right,
it's converse. Or, hey, gazelles are found in Africa, not in Colorado.
So on that note, will you read your best ones? Because I think sometimes it is fun to kind of point out the errors. Like Millennial Falcon. I love that woman for correcting me.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so here's a list of comments that I really enjoyed. Even though these people I know were smart enough to know, hey, there's a mistake that's been made.
Right.
But I'm not going to miss the bigger point, which is let's just celebrate and be happy it's the holidays and whatever. She's just trying to make people smile. So here we go. Number 1, the hashtag, oh dear. Okay, number 2. This is actually like, oh no, I'm going to keep that one for the last. Okay, so we're going to skip to number 3. This is how animals should be treated. She was just talking about, oh, they're welcoming to people's. Yeah, they invited them in. Who cares? Okay, as somebody who lives in Colorado, this cracked me up. They could actually be making a weird jab that like, it cracks me up that she just said gazelle, but she just left it at that.
Right.
I appreciate it. I could laugh along with her. Somebody put, I think this is a deer with like a smiley face, just letting me know. Somebody hashtagged Bubbas, which I thought was hilarious because, we usually use that with dog posts. Somebody put, according to the Lion King, gazelles are native to Africa.
See, that's a good one.
I loved it. Number 8, the best Okay, the best. I hope that this is a real story. Number 9, pretty sure this is a gazelle, but cute regardless. Okay. Number 10, gazelle, deer, alligator, whatever. I love it. So the last one I'll say is it started off good, and then I was like, oh man. So they put, I don't trust the story because that is not a gazelle. So, they're just playing around. So then their friend commented to what they wrote, I don't trust this story because that's not a gazelle. It still made me laugh. Their friend commented, and then they responded, but seriously, get your animals straight, with like the emoji for like, am I even saying that word right? Emoji. God, I'm like, I'm too afraid to speak. But the little smiley face that does the like eyeball roll.
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, get your animals straight. Like, oh my God, you guys, come on.
See, I would have said something about maybe the family's adopted. Why people got to be so close-minded? Maybe it is a gazelle family.
Right? I don't know. I just, so, God, everyone just chill out, man. Just chill. Seriously, I have been on social media myself, like some accounts that I like highly, highly respect. And they'll post something where I'm just like, oh, I disagree with that. We'll talk about this in a future episode, but like the legalization of marijuana. I'll have profiles that I follow that just politically we align, and then all of a sudden I'll see a post that's like 100% legalize, marijuana, and everyone can do it, and no one's ever overdosed, and no one's ever seen like an adverse effect, and yada, yada, yada. Well, I happen to disagree with that, even though I'm not going to get into it in terms of like the political, like my political views, but just being somebody who works in a psych unit and seeing people come in who test positive for only cannabis, who also have an underlying mental health issue, especially when they use like wax and these high potency marijuana products, if you will, it does not help matters. Let's just put it that way. You literally see people come in what's called substance induced psychosis. So my point of bringing this up is I don't see people's profiles. I see one post and go, oh, screw you, unfollow. Right. And I'm going to rip them a new one in the comment section. It just is like, it's with any other relationship. Find me one relationship in your real life. And I say real life in quotes because the internet is real life. We need to be treating people with respect on or off the internet. Find somebody that you agree with 100% of the time. You're going to be really hard pressed to find that person. Have you ever agreed with anybody 100%?
I mean, you're absolutely right.
I don't even fucking agree with myself 100% of the time.
So true. Me too.
Like seriously, like in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm all about this. And then like a couple hours later, I'm like, that was the worst fucking idea ever. What was I thinking? So this isn't me bringing up, I really want people to stay. Don't unfollow me. Unfollow me. Just do whatever you need to do. Who cares? But just think about like, really, what's the agenda here? What are you trying to prove?
I mean, it's a good thing to think about whenever we have like I think one of those responses that's so over the top when you stop and stand back and look at it, like what is the real underlying issue? There's two things I wanted to do as we kind of wrap this up. One's kind of similar thing. Oh, by the way, tell me about, though, real quick, you did post something up about a gazelle party because you took a shot at yourself. And I think this is a great way to handle sometimes when you screw up. Go ahead.
Right. So even though I didn't address the 35 people that called me a fucking stupid idiot that needs to like learn about animals, because once again, pick your battles, I posted a picture of a dog pool party. It's just like a series of pictures of dogs looking like they're having a friggin' blast at like a pool. Uh-huh. And I said, look at all these beautiful gazelles at this pool party.
See, well done. Well done. And see, that's my conflict management style in some ways. So really quick, I came into work one day. It was a long day. It was only 10 a.m. and I got to my second job. And I work for the most amazing couple. It's a psychiatrist and his wife kind of runs the office. And I came in and it was in October when all of the Day of the Dead stuff is out at the stores. And they had bought me a pillow with a skull on it. It was beautiful. And I took a picture with it, and I was like, I'm so thankful to be after this year and everything that's happened in my life and whatever, to finally find a place where I feel at home with amazing coworkers and bosses that appreciate us. And I posted up a picture with the skull, and this person underneath wrote, basically, here's the, I guess, condensed version. You talk about basics, quote, on the air, because I joke about that, right? Like fall comes, Uggs, pumpkin spice, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So like, you talk about basics on the air, but you're so fucking basic. Your skulls are basic. Your fake boobs are basic. Your car is basic. Your kids, you put them on Snap, but not on Instagram. You're a fucking poser. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Right?
Wow.
Like, hold the phone. And so going back and forth, I was like hurt because it was just the end of the day and I was just done. And so to try and handle it, I was, kind of went, and my followers got angry. And then that's when I kind of come in like, hey, play nice. I don't want to see this get nasty. But I responded to the account, come here, me and Drew, that's my co-host. Me and Drew are going to give you a hug. We'll have an angry sandwich. You can be the angry meat, And then it was, on and on, whatever. Come to find out, because my listeners are awesome, they found out it's a fake photo in the profile, and it's probably a fake account. And clearly this person follows me on multiple platforms. But it was like, I wanted to rip that person into shreds and set them on fire publicly.
Right. How nasty.
I mean, yeah.
So gross.
And the thing that got me is it's like, that behavior wouldn't have been okay if I'd have made just another comment. I really feel like, and this leads into, as we're wrapping up, there was a study on trolls. And it really is a sadistic bent towards people who are trolls. There was a study, an Australian study. There was 415 participants. A third of them were male. Median age is 23, right? Even with accounting for the differences in the sample size, trolls skewed dramatically male. And they tested really high they tested when they were quizzing people, surveying them for psychopathy. Is that how you say it, by the way? Is it psychopathy? Mm-hmm. Okay, because here's where I would screw up and someone would be like, we can't listen to this whole podcast because she said psychopathy wrong. I always say psychopathology because I screw up and I don't know if I'm saying it right. They also tested for sadism, as in like S&M. They're the ones that like to inflict pain, by the way, and empathy. And what they found is people who are trolls have high levels of psychopathy and sadism, and they actually have high cognitive empathy, meaning they understand that they're hurting other people. They do it because they understand they're hurting other people. They have lower levels, though, of their own affective empathy, meaning they're not aware of their own feelings. So they go and create this destruction and horror and all these terrible things on people, sometimes to the point where people are committing suicide, where their depression and anxiety is worse. And they have no sense of what they're doing because they're just thrill seeking.
Right.
So fuck that person in their fake profile.
They get off. They get off. This is like a fun game for them.
Right.
And so that's ultimately why once in a blue friggin' moon, you're going to see me stand up to somebody who tells me to get a life or who tells me to show my tits on Instagram Live. That happened. Remember that happened?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you out. Once in a while, I'm going to pick my battles, of course. I have to pick my battles in order to remain sane. I also tell people I always pick my battles, and 100% I will never, ever, ever become confrontational with somebody on the road that's having road rage. That's dangerous. Do not do that. But once in a while on social media, if somebody tells me to get a life, especially on the week where I'm not saying this to garner praise, but like when I'm sitting there exhausted because I've spent the entire week giving up my holidays with my child who's 1 year old and my husband, we're not doing presents for ourselves because we are spending every waking hour bringing presents to families who have lost their home in the fire.
Right, and that's why it hurts so much. I think that's important to bring up. Like any other day, you might have been able to brush that off.
Right. But I had literally just dropped off presents to somebody that I met on Instagram, which that even in and of itself is scary. You know, like she
Right.
was a really kind person, but I mean, we literally met on Instagram and I went to her house. I'm sure she was like, what the hell is going
By the way,
on?
that was my story of meeting Deanna is I met her on Instagram and then stayed the night at her house.
Yeah. So obviously there needs to be an episode of me with boundaries. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, like I just gotten home and then I saw this post and it was like, really, dude? So you just, I don't know. I don't even want to give it the excuse or the defense like I was just an off hour or an off day, because I shouldn't. I'm going to stand up for myself. And at the end of the day, I know what the pathology for the most part is within troll behavior.
Mhm.
I'm not going to change them. I'm just going to block them. I'm going to block that person after I put them on blast. And I've already taken down the post because I don't want it to, you know, I don't want it to garner all this negative attention. I wanted people to see that I will stand up for myself and I will stand up for them. And it gave some people strength to apply that to their own life, as evident from their DMs that they sent me saying, you know, thank you. Thank you for showing me how to fight back without using derogatory fighting words.
Yeah,
and that's the point.
We need to learn how to stand up for ourselves and handle conflict, I think, in a healthy way. And so that's a good way, I guess, to wrap it up.
I mean, or we can make sure that we're always perfect with our animal distinctions.
You know, I don't know about you, but my pet porcupine is keeping me company right now as she's a dog. My bad. By the way, from now on, I'm just going to randomly call animals the total wrong thing. And every time I could be like, that one's for Deanna.
Oh, by the way, that post is still on my Instagram. I'm going to keep it on there. And if you go back, you will see not every, but a lot of the negative posts or the like snide remarks. I wrote back, what a beautiful family of sea otters we got here. It's just like, guys, chill out. Chill out. So I made a friggin' mistake. I mean, really, the big picture was I just wanted to make you smile. Even with social media, like even in that specific post, it's talking about feeding them chocolate and biscuits. Guys, don't feed the wildlife. I mean, seriously, it's just like, if I have to censor myself that much all the time, forget it. Now all of a sudden this just feels like a job and I like have administrative bodies breathing down my neck. Forget it. I quit.
All right. Well, we're not, though. We're going to come back with another episode next week. We hope that you find us on our multiple platforms for getting the podcast. It's the Hilarious Humanitarians podcast every week. Please like it, share it, subscribe it, and we will shamelessly ask you for 5-star reviews.
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys next week. What was that?
I was going to say, please don't take off points for miscategorizing animals or mispronouncing words.
Or like psychopathy.
We get a review.
Psycho. Yeah.
4 stars, except they don't know their fucking vocabulary.
So next time you see me online, I will be posting pictures of porcupines disguised as dogs. See you next week.